Hello, my name is Eva Grebel and I'm an astronomer from Germany, from the University of Heidelberg. I'm this year's recipient of the Delta Young Astronomer Award, which is sponsored by the Delta Foundation and by the National Central University of Taiwan. I'm very grateful to have been awarded this prize, and I would like to thank the nominating committee as well as Dr. Bruce Cheng, who's the founder of this award, Dr. Bruce Cheng of Delta Foundation. It's a great honor to have been selected, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity to speak here today on the National Central University in Taiwan. As an astronomer, I work primarily on galaxy evolution, and basically I focus on nearby galaxies, such as our own, like the Milky Way and other companion galaxies of the Milky Way. In these nearby galaxies, we can study galaxy evolution as a function of time by looking at the stellar constituents of these objects. We can actually analyze the stars of these galaxies in some detail, which allows us to infer a lot about how these objects evolved and formed initially, and how they will probably continue to develop in the coming years. This is a fascinating area because, especially in galaxy evolution, there are many open questions still. But astronomy in general is a very interesting subject area, in my opinion. It is the science of the universe. We really try to look at how the universe formed and how it evolved with time. There are many different aspects of study that we are looking at, starting out with solar physics, the physics of our own sun, moving on to the physics of our solar system. You're probably aware of the many missions that are currently going on to explore our solar system to address questions such as possible life on Mars or the evolution of the outer gas giants and of their rings and moons. It's a fascinating area that tells us a lot about how our solar system itself formed and how it evolved in order to produce planets such as our own Earth. But going beyond the solar system, we also look at star formation, how stars like our sun and other stars, which may be much more massive or much less massive, formed, how they evolve, what their final stages are. We also look at the objects within which these stars reside, galaxies. Galaxies, of course, exist on much larger scales. Galaxies can have hundreds of billions of stars. They are very, very massive objects, like our own Milky Way. On the other hand, we may also find very small galaxies, which only have a few hundreds of thousands of stars. These objects are also interesting because in many cases, they seem to have been building blocks of more massive galaxies. We can go one step further and look at the universe as a whole. This is primarily the realm of cosmology, where we look at the Big Bang and the subsequent evolution all the way to galaxies as we observe them in today's universe. There are many open questions still, open questions focusing, for instance, on such questions as the amount of unseen, so-called dark matter in the universe, questions focusing on what drives the accelerated expansion of the universe, the so-called dark energy. Other questions deal with the many unsolved questions that we have still in galaxy evolution. We still do not fully understand why there are galaxies in this bewildering variety of different morphological types, spiral galaxies, elliptical galaxies, irregular galaxies, many other types, as we can find them observationally. Also, with respect to stars, many questions are still open about their evolution, and the more we learn, often the more new questions come up that need to be investigated in detail. One of the most fascinating areas in recent years is the discovery of extrasolar planets, planets outside of our solar system. And studying these is an extremely interesting area of astronomy, in particular with respect to the question of science, of life on other planets. So if there is life on other planets, of course, we would like to know what it looks like, whether it's very primitive life, whether we might even find intelligent life on other planets. This is an area that will probably keep us occupied for many decades in the future. So overall, astronomy has many interesting facets. You can study it both from the observational side and from the theoretical side. If you're interested in pursuing astronomy on a professional basis, The usual way is that you start out studying either astronomy or physics at a university, and then it depends on which country you live in. In some countries, you can actually do it right from the beginning, studying astronomy. In other countries, you start out with physics and then later specialize in astronomy. And it's not only physics that you need in order to understand and be able to do astronomy. Many other sciences also contribute. For instance, mathematics are an important foundation, and depending on the area of astronomy on which you would like to focus, also biology, geology, or chemistry can be very important. It's a real fascinating journey. One addresses lots of interesting questions. The advantage is astronomy is basically an area that is of interest to almost everyone because it deals with such fundamental questions like where do we come from? How did our universe evolve? How will our universe continue to develop in the future? These, I think, are questions that everybody takes some interest in. And if you want to do it professionally, you will find that it's an extremely rewarding area. You can learn a lot, you can make lots of new discoveries, and it's really absolutely fascinating. Another important ingredient for astronomy is actually English. You need to have a good command of the English language, because that is the language of communication among scientists from different countries. All of the publications, or most of the publications, will be published in English so that they're readable also for scientists in other countries. Most of the textbooks are in English, so that is yet another important part. And with that, you are able to communicate with scientists worldwide, and you can work together with them in answering new questions that come up in different areas of astronomy. Overall, it's really an absolutely fascinating journey, and I can only encourage you to pursue that. Thank you very much.